anjing.
Sama aku, Rit.
Tolong, tolong.
Tuh, aku.
Naik mobil dah. Oh enggak. Tolok ya, satu.
Ngelawan rumah dia, rumah bawah.
Lah, mau bawa aja. Yuk.
Spider ada.
Aku
Dua orang spider.
enggak ada
Kawan aku
kali
dah.
kalian.
Mobil belakang.
Mobil belakang, mobil belakang, mobil belakang.
Alah, nampak benda atas, yo.
Dari bawah.
Nggak bisa dari bawah nggak bisa. Rumah nampak aku, Cok. Rumah nampak aku.
Pala juga ada sih.
Ke atas, Rit.
Wup, sama-sama kepala. Ke atas. Nabrak.
Udah kali 8 deh, Cok. Oh, kali 4.
Ini kok kali 4 aku kali. Sendiri deh.
Ya, nampak udah punya tai. Nice.
Nggak kenok. Aku tak ada
Tinggal si
bukti.
Bante itu.
Masa ada yang di rumah?
Ada. Permainnya dia.
Aku kali 3, Jack.
Iya, aku kali 4 juga, nggak enak.
Nabrak dia ya. Dua tim tandaku. Rumah ini. Sini dia.
Ay, kalah tuh, kepala udah merah.
Tinggal di kontol 3 kontol. Bisa tuh Parit Mon. Hijau kali ya.
Oh, ada mobil nggak?
Nggak ada mobil aku.
Bung perang deh Mon.
Jauh kali om.
Pas sekali bomnya.
Oke, Jok, si bangsat itu. Aku kali 3.
Safe zone aja lah ya.
Kali 3 gue, Jack.
Ada gua. Nggak ada.
EP baru rumah sana. Satu orang ya. Rumah ini EP. Rata itu ya tim 11. Dia semua cok yang bunuh cok. Dia rebeh gitu. Mati. Kemudian rumah itu nggak zona.
Tengok loh siapa yang dari jam berapa?
Jangan kau tembak, Mon.
Enggak.
Ini juga ya.
Ngepik aja kok.
Ikut zona aja. Enggak zona lambat aja.
Zona cepat aku.
Dia mau cabut juga tuh. Berdiri dia.
Dekatnya lawan.
Ya dekatnya lah. Berdiri dia, Mon.
Tuh kanan gua dia.
Itu tembak kirimu. Ajar. Ya takut balik.
Ya.
Ya dibantu lah sama kawannya.
Gak mati cok.
Tadi Mon kocak. Oh Hamas cok. Orang si Pace cok.
Beda.
Orang si Pace itu. Oh
Enggak,
nih.
beda tim yang bunuh aku om.
Iya yang nyampan ya. Pace MS 4 nih.
Nggak kena bomku ya, pas di balik pohon tuh bomku.
Ada uang deh.
Tengah darom. Nah es.
Itu flawless ya, Jack? Itu Jack?
Wah,
Itu di ranked flawless kan? Oh beda.
waspada nih.
Oke dia kali berapa? Aku kali 4 doang, kali 3 doang. Udah jatuh deh dari mobil tadi.
Mau naik dari atas langsung ke klien nggak bisa. Dari rumah itu nembak terus. Mana Farid? Rit? Yes, belum lo
They won,
jujur, Pak.
obviously, the second game of the night. Feels like a lifetime ago. And they were one of the teams that actually picked up 20 points in one game with that win, second game of the night. Perfect example right in front of us. But outside of that one game, only 10 points in the other 4. And that's the concern. Not just for them, but there's also been quite a few other teams, I think, as well, Russell, that you could argue that they've had that one really good pop-off game and then simmered a little bit in the others. And that's where I've actually really enjoyed what we've seen from E-Arena. Because E-Arena haven't really had that like super mega pop-off game. Their best game was actually the most previous game, 11 kills, 7th place. That was the most amount of, well, actually, sorry, the game before that, they even picked up 13 kills. But they have never gone and gotten a win with, say, 15 kills or anything like that. Other teams have. And so, therefore, they've been a little bit more consistent in the kill department. They just need to be able to piece it all together. But right now, showing really good form and a reason why they were able to win the tie series.
Simon T hears the footsteps of Hudat, and Hudat has absolutely no idea, but he's been given a lifeline and hits the shots. That's insane and should never, ever, ever happen. Simon T had him dead to rights, and Hudat was given a chance to fight. Simon T went for the initial shots. I am kind of lost for words, to be honest with you.
It happens from time to time. You play so many games of PUBG, and every now and then you're going to probably lose a one like that. One that he'd love to have back, and not the best way to end your night. Horrible feeling. 5.5 minutes into the final game. And a kill you probably should have gotten. Doesn't quite go your way. Parachute pickup for the expendables, but goes back to that conversation in the last game. You've got to do it. This is the best way to do it. Nice and early. Rotate. Use it as a rotational tool rather than trying to sneak by teams. And you're going to notice they're not going to really get shot at here. They're actually going to get this compound. Very good compound as well, looking down the hill in towards La Cobria. And if the circle does eventually finish in this location, it becomes a good location. I don't know what they're doing though, because Dublin has gone to that compound. The rest of them have actually gone into La Cob, and I'm a little surprised.
You know what? I'm trying to like piece this together in my head, figure out what kind of strategy they're going for here, because obviously Delwyn stayed up at that high ground compound, and so he's acting as he's acting as the guy that's going to pass off all the information. But at the same time, that could be a thing, because I was going to say at the same time, committing to La Cob this early is.
Wait, DS kocak, wait.
Why they want it. They could go for vehicles, yeah. That's. I mean, they know that this is a hard shift to the north, so no team would have come up here to loot. So the hard spawn's probably still there. They can drive that up. Tanvu's actually got it already, so that could be the play. And if that is the play, then obviously that's much more disciplined, much more smarter play for TE than just fully committing to that compound and being out of vehicles, out of resources by the time they actually need them.
Yeah, you can see on the map here, they've actually just found themselves 2 vehicles. I imagine a tiny little bit more loot as well inside of that warehouse, which would be stacked. And yeah, actually, that's a really
nice
400 IQ play from the expendables, because I think the majority of teams, and it looks like I think they just split, they got themselves a 3rd vehicle. The majority of teams, even at this level, would probably just go for the heads-up play, scout that compound, top hill, good position. Later on in the game can very much become a prior. And just go for it, because you just almost like fixate and focus on it. But they had the peace of mind to send Delwyn there first and then go and get vehicles. So that they've got and the reason why you need those vehicles again is if this does kind of shift into any kind of open terrain, you need to build card forts. There's a couple of balls down that hill as well that you can kind of use those vehicles for extra cover later on in the game. If you don't have those vehicles, getting out of that compound on top of the hill is going to be even more annoying. So really smart play. I'm very curious to see how TE plays the rest of this game now off the back of that start.
I love it because as well, Delwyn being that high up, when those players do finally get those vehicles, Delwyn can tell them exactly what's free. And that's exactly what happens. Tanvu's driven into one of the priority free compounds. So yeah, it's really, really, really heads up. But it shows the experience.
Jack kok nyaman sama dia nggak nyaman udah ke
Ya, aku mau ngomong tapi nggak tega. Nggak ada orang ngomong. Ada yang wakil.
Jangan dipendam, Rit. Kalau ada sesuatu itu omongin aja.
Bang. Ini kau kebun sayur.
Pantat kuali.
They're on 25 points. They're not pressured at all. They are still playing a very good standard game of PUBG. It's just what more can they do from here? It seems like end games, mid games are more of a worry for TE rather than these early games. And yeah, I think that's just a really nice play that we actually got to see kind of played out, and all the audience got to look at it too. So I'm happy that we got to spectate that.
Yeah, and should mention there's really not much else happening right now for this phase 1 circle coming to its conclusion. Another 50 seconds for the blue. Everyone's pretty set in their ways. The arena, pushing over towards the creative fields, close by. 2 destroyers, a solo there at the moment for UNC. That's the main threat that I can see on the live stream, and we go to it now. He's by himself here. There are potential help maybe from the other side of the crater, but it's so far away that Manhung and Sapao aren't really going to be the best of positions to do much. I think Destroy's really just got to get out of here.
His car's parked right in front of him, so he can leave whenever. He's just buying his time, really.
Yeah.
If he can stay here and be greedy, then he'll go for it.
A bit greedy. And the thing is, the longer you take there...
Wow.
What a shot from Manhung.
You questioned the cover? You questioned the cover from Manhung?
I didn't question the cover, I questioned the distance of said cover.
That's true.
And apparently the distance is largely irrelevant.
Gak knock, what
The
the
Dragon
fuck?
as well.
Oh, a parachute, by the way, from Reluctant Squad right over that compound of TE, who got into their vehicles and were anticipating maybe an eastern shift. They doubled back, though. Was compound available. They're aware of that. Jacob knocked. Was by Manhung. I'll get the revive. He's fine. He'll get back up. Tigger on the move.
Di bawah aku.
And
Siap
around
kan? Oh,
now
kanan.
into phase 2, and it has gone over towards Crater. So Crater finished, not a Lycop finish. Well, I mean, I say that it could still technically finish Lycop. But far more of a focus on Crater right now than the POI.
Yeah. I mean, Crater kind of acts, at least the industrial part of Crater kind of acts as a city, right? Where if you send it in, you've kind of
Dikoper dari jauh.
very difficult to leave the Crater fields. Less so
Nah, yuk, mau dia naik.
the cars up in the warehouses and
Depan om,
find a safe exit if the
Depan, Om.
zone does shift
Atas.
away from you.
Depan.
So it kind of does act as a city
Kiri
ending, at
ada.
least in one way.
Kiri.
But obviously it is entirely different in the fact that you have this surrounding huge
Kiri tadi om liatin.
unplayables.
Aku liatin ini nih.
Okay, a little bit of roll there from the Expendables. But they've been solid so far. I hope to see their excellent play early on actually reward
Naik
them
dia
with
dari
something.
dari
The
depan.
arena
Aku
didn't
nungguin
leave
dia yang
anyone
dari
in
atas.
this
Terus yang
compound,
kiri ada
so the
step,
Expendables
maka
will be able to take it.
spray
Panic
juga.
on a rotation. Reluctant Squad trying to
Dari
capitalize
jauhnya.
the nades.
Mbak.
Little bit too terribly timed, but Hoang will make up for it with a nice spray. Dusky down. The rest of Panic have no choice but to leave him.
Yeah, it's been a rough night for Panic. Ever since we left Erangel, it feels like they've also left the server. Hate to say it, but it's been an over-reliance once again on a
Cuman
singular
dari tadi
map.
naik tim
And
kan
it's kind of
Red?
been their downfall.
Hah?
Cuman dari tadi kan?
And it's not as if they also
Ini banyak
capitalized
Iya,
on
cuman
those
dari
two
tadi.
games of Erangel. They were good.
Bom tiga nih.
Really not
Buang
super
satu nih.
amazing that apparently they needed to be if they were going to
Darah,
only show
darah,
up
darah,
on
darah.
Erangel.
Turun
And hence why they've now dropped
dari daerah
down
tanda biru
into
sama
10th. And actually in a position that Team Bliss could look to overtake them by the end of this game. Only 6 points separating them now, the two Australian teams from PUBG Challenge Rumble. MS with a high ground position,
Ya dari mana itu?
looking down in towards Concrete Buildings.
naik dia.
Right, Esports holding on in that
Lama-lama
location at the
feeling ya.
moment.
Ya.
It's to the south side of the circle. And Cerberus just happy to navigate themselves on the mountain
Mundur,
terrain for
mundur.
now. No real desperation.
Oh,
Actually, quite a lot of teams on this south side of the circle.
time.
It's the east and the west actually where
Naik dia tadi mana?
Naik.
vacated. Oh, shot! It's long high from a long distance. That's a long way, and then he followed it up as well. That is some quick shooting from long high for Reluctant Squad. They'll get their second kill of the
Pecah.
game. Valley Tire Esports. That's a disappointing way to lose one of your members, and perhaps Yak have been able to make their way into the warehouse, clearly spotted by RS.
Mana sih dia?
But yeah, great shooting from long high with the Dragonov.
Saw him line that up too. He was
Dalam bola-bola itu deh.
entirely
Yeah,
confident that he was going to land that.
Yang satu aja.
I feel like this is the calm before the storm. Too many teams too close to each other for my liking. It's about to all pop off. Too many teams inside the cob as well. You can imagine on this next circle pop happening in just 5 seconds. But
Main. Gantikan aku benteran. Makan aku. Gantikan aku loh. Makan dulu. Oke. Ya, orang bertiga.
Oh, udah kelar. Masih main juga kan?
Iya, bentar lagi.
Udah di sini om. Bawa kita om.
a decent circle that they can actually capitalize on. Cerberus the same. Not the same for Armory Gaming though, it seems. Destroyed on rotation. A chance with the drive.
Yeah,
They somehow pulled this
yeah.
back. 2 knocks on
Flash,
Armory.
Beda lagi, beda lagi.
FTF happy off in the distance. Riz gets taken down, but finally Dynasty with those 2 flushes. Armory, somehow they actually survived that.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of scraped together a couple of points in the last game as well, despite probably not playing at their best. Can they do so again here? Maybe then look to reset for tomorrow night, where they are still very much in a good position to challenge that top 4. Elzeal doing a bit of a spin out into the open, but eventually goes down. 6, 7, 8, 9, and Hoang combining for Reluctant Squad. As Jun is currently on the floor, long high in a vehicle driving around. couple of very important points here for RS to close the night. Trick actually stealing one though. Dalziel
Lewat tali kalau
down. Pain at the tree for X-Men. Quiet night from them overall. Then they lose. 2
Bonus Jack
immediately
mati.
make that 3. Could be 4 soon enough. Tarnished over the bounds of house. And that's the end of Zizzy. Again, E-Arena have been good, but there have been their challenges despite being in second. These have been
tadi.
far too common throughout the night, and
Stepnya
why they haven't
nyaru sama
really been
orang
able to
bawah
put
tadi.
together a complete performance. But still, hard to be critical. They're in second at the moment.
Dia
And if they haven't put
Itu
together
kawan yang
a
seller
complete
itu.
performance yet tonight, well, it shows they've
Enggak,
got far
yang
more still to
seller
achieve
itu
tomorrow
udah
night
mati.
and on. 2 down
Push
the
sama
moment for the
Jack.
Expendables. We kind of wanted to keep an eye on their game this match. Unfortunately, the circle shift did not really help them out.
2 orang ya?
In fact, the last 2
Satu,
circle
satu.
shifts did not really help them out. The good news for them, though, by getting those vehicles, they have been able to, at the very least,
Satu.
rotate away from that Black Cob Hill, currently with a bit of a pit stop in El Pozo.
Given a lifeline as well. If Lyrix, I feel like there's a little bit of pressure from X-Men, but Lyrix is kind of disregarding that right now, going for the kills instead. Probably the smart play, to be honest with you. Just min-maxing what he can do. He's got the spot to take the Expendables out, so he may as well try it. But as soon as he runs out of ammo now, it's going to be a quick 180 and then focus on the X-Men that his teammates are currently dealing with. That's the thing for Lyrix.
Yang bunuh si Jack
Do they care about the
satu. Ini yang beda lagi
X-Men or
satu.
not? I don't really know, but Lyrix seems to not. He wants to get as many kills as he can. It's hit the tree.
Itu kawannya yang push aku pertama,
Has
Om.
to be good, and it is.
Dia
Let's say
naik
we'll get
tali
away
pertama
with it, but
tengok.
Kiss, that's a driving mistake that sometimes costs you your life. Not maybe expecting Lyrix to be here, hoping that he wouldn't be here at least. We move to Belmoth now. Magnetic rotating through the field. This is Daytrade's opportunity to have a good
Enggak,
game.
kok
They have to
malah
control
dia.
Magnetic though.
Siapa tahu ada pace
Oh,
baru
just shifting back a little bit.
Mana pecah, Cok.
Surprised by that one. Thought it was going to continue maybe towards the south. El Pozo now very much a
Lapan,
dangerous
Bang.
position to be in for the Expendables and Daytrade. Pushing out of that in towards that hilly terrain is not going to be a fun task. Nurans with a good line of sight. Running towards the Expendables.
Air ada motor.
Dan ada
Hasn't
motor dia
taken
mau
his
ambil
shots.
mobil.
Bit of trick and discipline. Maybe just waiting to see if he can get a better one. Duck Juice though just runs away. Good
Nggak,
tactic.
naik motor ke mobil kan bisa.
Landing better shots back, and Nurans forced to fall back and heal up.
Enggak, naik mobilnya ikutin
Daytrade
jalan.
playing it slow and steady, but in the bottom 4 at the moment, and in a bad spot, in a bad way,
Keluar kau, Jack.
is Puchils, Nurans, and the rest inside of El Pozo. Hard to imagine that they're going to be able to get a massive game from here. E-Arena gone. X-Men with a nice double, and probably the first blemish of the night. What a headshot from Duck Juice. UNQ also then dying on the fallout. 2 kills now for TE. But yeah, E-Arena's probably first blemish of the night, Russell. It comes on the final game.
Yeah. Lyrix with a massive focus on the edge, just let X-Men kind of sneak into the compound. The drive-by is actually quite clean from the Expendables. It allows them some time to drive straight past Puchils. He's going to have a second shot with the Scar to maybe get them as they
Aku
rotate
nunggu bawah
into
tadi,
the
Rit, makanya
ball.
nggak expect
But no
dia
shots land on
naik,
that
Rit.
second spray, so the Expendables get away with it. They're not in the
Di
zone
bolong
though.
itu.
Unfortunately
Bagus
enough for them, but
dihabis.
this does put Daytrade in a bit of a pickle.
Bunyi soalnya
They've
tadi
got to
tali
come out of the
grapple
city,
dia.
take the fight with the
Oh, dan
Expendables,
aku
and
nggak
then move into the zone. I don't know how much of that
Win.
they're going to be able to
Biasa.
get done. It doesn't scream
Lewat-
super doable to me.
Dia kan
Walker knocks
nge-step
himself off the
tuh di
bike
bawah tuh
or
tak tak
falling
tak.
off the unplayable. Either way, it's
Dia
devastating.
keluar
And
keluar
Belmoth with the
terus yang
grenades, they
kiri
have to be on point.
buka
He's
pintu
alone
kan,
though. Flash
makanya aku
up
ke
with the backup
kiri.
to support him. Really,
Spray
we're
orang
just waiting
bawah
for the
dari
backup
jauh,
for Pucci
dia
and the
seler
team
aku
that's in the
kepala.
car. With that backup, then maybe they can do something here onto the Expendables. So right now, it's all onto Belmoth and Flash's backup.
Tidak hati.
Our knocked.
Sekali
Only
kena orang
one
bawah
frag
tadi tuh.
available for Belmont. Dambu's got one in hand as well, throwing into the direction of Daytrade. They're all basically half health at the
Dia
moment.
kan
No one falls to that
ber-
frag
gua kena aku naik dia langsung.
Thrown out from Tambu.
Orang tengah tadi
Puchil
ditungguin.
falls. Sorry, Puchil gets the kill onto Tambu, who falls. Darwin then down to the blue as well. And Daytrade doing a significantly good job of winning this fight against the Expendables. What a great start to the game for TE, but the circle and the game had other ideas, and Daytrade will capitalize.
Apa?
Udah on kan?
Udah on.
Kenapa?
Bukan si Jack. Deh.
Hah?
Ah? Si Jack. Si Jack makan katanya.
Pergi makan.
Iya.
Entah pergi beli makan.
Tuh belakangmu face itu. Oh itu face juga tuh.
Towards the end of this game, phase 5, deep into the last game of the night.
Aman, Om.
5 kills for day trade. They've got themselves into a position though where they can play
Minum
sweep
nggak ada.
on the edge.
Magnetic, zero chance there. I feel like every one of those players was caught out of position. They had Armory in their back. They had Day Trade in the front. Not a chance for them to live. That was one of those moments where you're calling out players and all of a sudden you and your entire team is dead and those comms mean absolutely nothing. Jame caught out of position though too. You're right, these high ground spots, kind of a double-edged sword. You go high to get the advantage and then you get shot in the back by someone a little bit lower ground. This circle is often kind of tipsy-turvy. An advantage can just as quickly turn into a disadvantage. Cerberus go. Not the night we would have wanted for them. You can see Team Bliss on that map as well, fighting for position in the top left of the map. E36, maybe this is their chance for a good game too. Access to the unplayables, access to the high ground. Panic 4. Team Bliss, they suffered one knock. Maybe now chance for E36 to move in. FTF moving in here on the east. They've already got kind of position over Armory Gaming. Got them under wraps. No need to kind of overthink the situation. No need for FTF to overheat here. This is another game where they've already racked up 3 kills. Certainly in a spot to do more. E36 definitely don't want to let Team Bliss go here without doing any more damage. They've already taken down Cal. I think that was off the back of help from Panic. More damage now onto Akita too. But that's from Unicorn Cyber, who, again, we kind of forget they've been up here since basically the start of the game. They have been up on these unplayables, controlling and corralling these teams to go wherever they want them to. And finally, now they're actually given an opportunity to get some kills in this late game, now that everyone's having to leave their compounds, leave the safety of the bowls and things that they had all along. Unicorn Cyber will do their best to capitalize. This fight rages on, but E36 seemingly can't do much. It's that ridge that Team Bliss have to work with, completely LOSing them. And now you can see the smokes. Monty, he needs a lot of help right now from inside Nikita, but Destroy's found an angle.
Yeah. UNC top of this hill. Monty was never going to be safe to all angles. Smoke does go out, but probably to little avail. Insight and the rest of Team Bliss were always in a predicament coming out of La Cobria. I'm actually a little bit surprised they even went into La Cob so early into this game. Bliss not usually renowned for that kind of playstyle. Akita though, lovely little push up this hill. You can just see though how much of a difference it is playing from this low ground position. It is such a steep hill. Looking down, it's almost essentially free. Insight now, the solo, but he feels like he can get a good wrap in, maybe get on the other side of Enterforce. And while that res is taking place, he just doesn't peek over. It might just really summarize the night. Never mind, he finally spots him. And then the second, but no, gun was not up, was not ready for Sylphia, who was ready. And Team Bliss will go out in 8th. Following shortly after that, it was Dynasty who got eliminated. Therefore, Armory Gaming will follow in 7th and into the top 6 for the final game of the night that we go. And finally, FTF have been able to find some form after a couple of poor games. They make it towards the end of this one. But Unicorn Cyber looking to really solidify the night for what's been a really strong night from UNC. 5 kills, 4 up, good position. Arguably maybe best position considering where Hudat is currently located.
Oh yeah.
And honestly, for E36, this will end up being their best game of the night.
That says something, doesn't it? Swallow up close. Duckmai inside that little bowl, also inside that smoke, so Samoy knows exactly where he's going to be. Once that smoke dissipates, maybe that 1v1 can actually come to fruition, and I think Duckmai might even choose to back down the unplayables, get away from this kind of situation. He knows that Unicorn Cyber are above him as well, so he can completely avoid FTF and just let these two teams fight, but they've spotted him as he tried to sneak away. Duckmai is very much a known quantity all the way down there. That Rosa will take care of him. Samoy gets it, and FTF hitting their kills per game quota right now. 5 on the trot. Unicorn Cyber, though, we cannot forget them. Kings of the Hills right now. FTF can play below them. We cannot forget FTF hitting their kills per game quota right now. 5 on the trot. Unicorn Cyber, though, we cannot forget them. Kings of the Hills right now. 5 on the placement point. He's been the guy on the low ground, and his job right now, obviously, is to take care of E36. He's done that to 1. Pure Boy gets flushed out as well. Assistance, I think, from Spal off on the north. Blind completely. We've got 20 seconds there. Waiting for his opportunity to finally pull out the nade and try to take care of Sylvia, but not going to go his way. So members up now for E36. Very separated, mind you. So Destroy can take these 1v1s. He can get those individual fights off and put himself in a great spot to actually take out E36 all by himself. But you surely want a little bit of help from your teammates who have the biggest advantage. I feel like if Destroy goes down right now, it's very uncharacteristic of what we see Unicorn Cyber do for the rest of the night.
Great way to finish the night for FTF and UNC. Top 2 at the moment, and will remain in the top 2 when it's all said and done. Just the position that could change, really. And And also a bit of a salvation final round, final game for E36 after a very tumultuous final, well, start to the night. Their final games have been much better. And probably just offering a little bit of hope that they can be competitive for the remainder of this tournament. Up to 12 points now, not that far behind RXC and Bliss and PNC. Disappointing though, of course, for the Aussie teams. Both of them in the bottom four. Not where they would have liked to have been. Oh, little pan. Trick with the frag grenade, and always throwing these uphills can be so difficult. Little vision, not quite sure how close they really are. One head left for Destroy to try and finish off E36. Does a tiny bit of damage. Luzon thrown out as well. Not a lot of ammunition on that orb, but you get these 2 kills and you can probably get some ammunition off their bodies. Maybe expecting them to be a bit higher. Could be trying to push him behind him, but no, they are very much going to be coming in from the below side. Everything says this should be a free double kill for Destroy. And if he finds it, then UNC are going to be in a great spot. Fighting a bit more of a frontline fight against FTF. Does get that kill onto Happy. That's going to make life a little bit easier for UNC. FTF no longer at full strength, now down to 3 players.
One of those moments though, if that gets caught up with FTF, then Destroy starts taking that 2v1 versus E36. It could go sideways. I still think Unicorn Cyber will remain in a much better position than anyone else in this lobby, but that's one of the ways this could go terribly wrong for Unicorn Cyber. It's just Huda taking this fight solo against FTF, and then it's Destroy taking the fight alone against E36. Not anymore though, he's got backup in the form, but he's gone down without a trade. If this falls apart for UNC, it's all on these individuals taking fights without using the backup of the high ground. Destroy could have fallen back the entire time and had backup from every one of his teammates who had arguably, categorically, the best spot in the game. Destroy's lost his life. Unicorn Cyber have given this up a little bit too much. Belmont's gotten dangerously close as well. Unicorn Cyber, now they're not moving around so much. Now they're not confident in their little micro movements. The high ground that they have, the unplayables that they have, no longer are they the solid advantage they used to have, because Manhug's just sitting there silent. Like, he's had to go fully silent now. So Powell's the one providing backup. Huda's had to jump off and he lost his life. That is an absolute blunder. This is Unicorn Cyber completely crumbling.
Yeah, they are. And I think they put so much stock into Destroy being able to get that double kill. As soon as he loses that, you still also now have to deal with them. Like, this is the biggest issue more than anything. You lose a player, but then also the threat behind is still very much there. They get a bit of help by FTF of all teams. They're not calling to Sylvia. But now with this more high ground position, FTF should be able to overwhelm UNC. Trick gets the double. He does what Destroy could not and gets rid of Enter Force. And 4 teams now remain. But the highest of all high ground is with From the Future. This overhanging view says it all. 6, 7, 8, 9 in a little crevice at the back as a solo. It's these 3 teams in front of us. They are the primary focus now. 3 up, FTF and UNC. The high ground's too strong. And Orkrim will get the knock onto Sambil. Unicorn Cyber. Unfortunately, at this last moment in the final match, have really given up good position, good control, and are giving kills away. And From the Future, from here, you would think should be able to find their second win of the night. After a couple of poor games, Russell, they have responded.
We go phase 9 though. Phase 9 is off the unplayables. They might have to jump off straight into Daytrade's lines of sight. Unicorn Cyber still here as well. Yeah, it's a knock from Simoy, but you can't capitalize on it. You can't just jump off the unplayable off the back of that. You've got to wait for your opportunity. The safest would be to go around the eastern side, but then you end up with 6, 7, 8, 9. So I feel like this is not super ideal for FTF just because of how this phase 8 has panned out. They're going to have to deal with Daytrade and Unicorn Cyber before they have to jump off these unplayables. They might actually be able to do that, which is completely in the open. Simoy's doing it all right now for FTF. So many kills, and he's just exposing himself to get these flushes as well. No one is able to trade. Nerons is completely on the other side of the unplayable. 6, 7, 8, 9 obviously not going to show his head just yet. And Unicorn Cyber is a shadow of their former selves. They can't do anything. All the control they previously had is gone. So this is the kind of free...
Masih lanjut turnamen.
Waduh, kelihatan tuh 1 orang. Oh, dikejar.
Masuk grand final.
His blood right now.
Dia masuk grand final dia. Peringkat pertama nih dia, hari pertama nih. 57 poin. Mainnya laptop,
Match of the night. Phase 9 arriving very shortly. Classic Miramar, especially with now these unplayables. It's kind of like a new age Miramar, if anything. And yeah, dealt with both. Belmoth gone, same with 6, 7, 8, 9. So the solo gone, but replaced by one more solo now in Nurans for day trade. FTF have got high ground, they've got numbers. They can even just play end zone if they really have got the supplies to finish this off. Walkerin has dropped. You can see the parachute bottom left. Not sure exactly where he's gone, but it looks like the backside. Very far back. Can clear out below and eventually start sweeping with the help from above from the future. Well and truly the best placed team to win this game. And boy, would it put them in once again that commanding position going into tomorrow, Russ. Going into the next 6 games. They are still holding such a strong hold on that top 4. But look how close who that is to Nurans. That is insane how close these two are. And eventually, who that will get that kill. Solo dealt with. Second place confirmed, at least for Unicorn Cyber. They want more than second, though. And not impossible to think that UNC could still win from here. Any kind of overpeak, misstep, or mistake, and they could still win this game for Unicorn Cyber.
Hudat's got no vest. Looks like that high ground's too much, though. Trick's got him manhung. I thought he would have a little bit more impact, but absolutely not. Hudat now last one alive. Just a quick flick up. It is all FTF. The high ground that was once Unicorn Cyber's is claimed by From the Future, and off the back of that, Unicorn Cyber became the peasants, FTF became the kings, and they absolutely dominate that game. They had a 15-kill win before. It's not that good, but it's 14. One shy of the lobby record, I suppose. It is pretty damn good. FTF, you started to doubt them. Maybe so did I, but here they are shutting you up once again.
Yeah, I don't know anymore. Did I overhype them? Probably. Did I start to doubt them a little bit? Maybe a slight tither. And did they respond? Yes, indeed they did. I mean, they're being a bit hard to read. They look amazing, then they have 2 shockers, and then they look amazing. Actually, it was 3 shockers. Well, no, sorry, 2. And then they look amazing again. I think really more than anything, though, what's been shown from the Future tonight, for me, the takeaway is that their best is easily good enough for this lobby to get them in the top 4. That's the main thing. That's the main takeaway. Have we seen, say, Arena's best? Probably not. But their consistency says that they've got themselves in a great spot. And if we do see their best, everyone watch out. Unicorn's best, and so far, that's 3 teams that I've listed. That's already 3 major threats. That from night 1, FTF, Arena, and Unicorn Cyber, everyone else is looking to now track down over the next 3 nights. That's the key takeaway. But FTF, the ability to win 2 games tonight, 29 kills within those 2 games, paramount, massive, puts them in such a good position going into tomorrow.
It makes it even more exciting knowing that we haven't seen the peaks from some of these other teams. We haven't seen Armory Gaming's peak. I know that because I haven't got a 20-kill win yet. We haven't seen Armory Gaming's peak. We haven't seen the Arena's peak. We haven't seen Day Trade's peak. And so we saw a couple of teams peak tonight, but there's still plenty more teams that have yet to show us their absolute best. But I think you're right. That is very we've seen the FTF can actually compete with the rest of the teams in the lobby, and that level is good enough to put them in the top 4. I fully agree with that, and I think that is absolutely what everyone else should take away from FTF's performance tonight. It has looked a little bit cold, but imagine what can happen if they clean up those cold games. Imagine what could happen if in those terrible games that they had, they're able to get 4 to 5 points. We know the FTF are kill heavy, so if they're able to do that, then their floor all of a sudden is raised as well. Not only can they compete with the rest of the lobby, but their floor becomes one that's incredibly difficult to contend with. My heart goes out to Unicorn Cyber this game. I feel like the way it should have happened was you have the Unicorn Cyber guys deal with E36, you have them deal with E36, and then all of a sudden you don't need the unplayables. Let FTF take the unplayables, and then as soon as FTF start peeking over, you're peeking over into the entirety of Unicorn Cyber. And then FTF suddenly, they're the ones that crumble because as they come off the unplayables, Unicorn Cyber is ready for them. But they spread themselves too thin. They were like, okay, you deal with FTF.
Pokoknya kau tabrak yang kanan langsung tadi ya kan, Rit?
Ya. Dari jalan pun masih apa kan wajib perang semua orang itu kan gitu. Salah. Tukang grab, Rit, tukang grab. Ya, Bang, grab. Ya, Bang. Nyawa,
Jemput
gitu
bang,
aja.
jemput. Lah udah telat lah bang, udah pergi dia. Oh alah bang. Alah. Ya lah aku bang. Alah. Ngetem lu, aku ngetem sini aja.
Dia pun kayaknya kayak nggak dengar stepku itu, Om.
Enggak. Perang itu fokus gudang-gudang itu.
Iya, fokus gudang kayaknya dia.
Oh masih pakai direct 11 an?
Oh,
Om Bob enggak. Om Bob pakai 11 ngelek dia.
12 lah, mana Pat?
tiga kau kan RTX.
Emang ngaruh itu Rupe?
Ngaruh lah.
Ngaruh orang dibilang Om rata-rata.
Udah aku bilang kan kalau RTX pakai direct enchant atau enggak direct 12. AMD juga pakai 12.
Supaya apa itu?
Enggak tahu direct ininya dari PUBG-nya buat apa rendernya. Ada di ininya Om, di pemberitahuan itunya artikel apa gitu. Terus aku nyari settingan driver PGA.
Satu lagi kan dari DXD bisa gitu dari apanya, Cok. Dia supportnya kemana?
Maksudnya makin kita turunin makin ngelag gitu?
Enggak sesuai jadinya.
Enggak sesuai, Om.
Enggak.
Walaupun di atasnya kan enggak sesuai. Harusnya dia bekerjanya udah skillnya udah di atas ya kan?
Direct 11 ini untuk ini kayak PGA aku GTX 10 series.
Yang busuk-busuk lah, ya kan?
Dia.
Lo kayak yang nggak mampu lah bisa ya kan? Kalau kita kan mampu.
Bujang.
Mana kita, Om?
Ya serah kau lah. Kau yang bawa.
Nah, ini lah.
Mau main di bengkong lagi. Tapi setting belum dapat.
Iya, itu
MD
masalahnya,
ya?
Rit.
MD.
Om.
Si Asbi tanya, dia MD.
Mana ada
Dia
dia
MD kah?
prosesor. Bukan
Enggak,
PGA.
kemarin sebelumnya dia AMD, jadi dia tahu.
Iya kah?
Sebelumnya pakai AMD, iya, makanya dia tahu.
Atau enggak si Iweng, Rare One.
Itu AMD-nya itu, Rit, udah tinggi loh, Rit. 5700, Rit.
Udah itu 2060 itu. Setara 20.
Setara 2060. Kalau 6600 XT nah setara 3060.
Squad deh.
Ambil kiri
Aku udah baca-baca. Aku udah
Mon, ada nabrak sini Mon, nabrak biru.
Parit di situ.
Berapa hari?
Ini ada di depan gue. Langsung nembak loh. Wah, gila. Ngerti lagi aku. Gila loh. Langsung tahu aku di situ, Mon.
Cheater sih kayaknya.
Ngerti lagi, Mon. Nggak ngerti lagi aku. Udah, nggak tahu lagi aku.
Aman nggak, Om?
Ini turun ke bawah aku nih. Aku ke belakang ini, Mon. Gila loh, Han. Itu jauh loh stepnya, Han. Langsung ditembak aku.
Cheater kayaknya.
Walah.
Nge-cheat kan, Mon?
Soalnya.
Halo. Jago kali mana? Juga ya. Langsung nembak masalahnya.
Apa aja sekarat ini, Om? Jadi pusok ya.
Buka sepatumu. Ke atas ya, Mon. Sumpah, nggak ngerti lagi aku itu. Terlalu jago deh.
udah di rumah aku belum?
Nggak bisa, Rit. Ditembak dari depan, Rit. 2. Rumah sebelahnya ya. Rumah depan ini ya dia. Naik dari tangga aja, Rit. Bisa, Rit.
Tanda dong, musuhnya di mana?
Berangkat. Di oren. Dari tas.
Oh iya cheater.
Ngecit.
Ngecit bertiga nge-push aku nih.
Aku belum nongol Han, baru mau turun. Brrrt lah saya.
Bertiga di tempat.
Nih Mon, ke belakang Mon, ke belakang Mon.
Coba tanya.
Mon, nah di sini Mon. Aku naik itu langsung headshot Mon. Nah situ tadi parit, langsung headshot tadi.
Musuhnya di mayatku 3 orang.
Di bawah ada satu.
Coba tanya.
Ah,
Itu step Om.
Tarik kayak ke belakang. Pancing.
tarik ya sumpah. Tarik ya Mon.
Di push ya.
Mon. Cabut.
Ya kau mepet kanan Rit, kelihatan lah. Dia di biru.
Ah, lihat tuh, yang ini yang bunuh aku.
Spray.
Langsung tahu.
Mati aja,
Spray dia.
mati aja man.
Tembok.
Biar langsung report. Fight aja.
Nah, posisinya tahu dia. Nah, posisinya langsung tahu si yes ini.
Gini amat ya.
Enggak, dia langsung nge-prepare tadi nembak itu loh, apa? Pagar.
Tembak kayu-kayu.
Report